And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey folks, today we're taking a look at the second Smash Up expansion, the Obligatory Cthulhu set. Yes, Cthulhu invades everything, and apparently it invades Smash Up, but how could it not have a game where you mixed ninjas and pirates and so on? Now, this game, this expansion can be played as a two-player game. There's 4 decks in it, so you can play one-on-one, mixing 2 decks, and there's enough pieces in here to do so. But I'm going to be reviewing it as if it was an expansion to the base game, so if you want to know how to play Smash Up, go watch my review for that. Let's see what's in this box. Okay, see these are the tokens from the first game, the original game. Now we have these new tokens. They're like tentacled. This is so you can play the game by itself, but also you'll look at these and go, wow, those are so cool. I'm going to get rid of the old tokens, and you would be right. Now this game has a new deck of cards with it that are called Madness cards. And these decks will come in based on what some of the new bases, but mostly the 4 new factions. As you get these Madness cards into your hands, into your decks, they will eventually show up into your hands. And when you get them, you will draw 2 cards. You can play them as an action to draw 2 cards, or you can get rid of them. So they're not like they're stuck there. Although sometimes you want to play one just to draw the 2 cards. But likely you won't, and you really don't want Madness in your deck specifically, especially if you don't have one of these 4 factions. Because at the end of the game, every 2 Madness that you have is -1 point, and points are pretty valuable. There are new bases included with this game. We have Miskatonic University, and you can see that after this base scores, the winner may search their hand and discard pile for any number of Madness cards and return them. So this helps you get rid of Madness. Or Mountains of Madness. I mean, this is worth 6 points. This is great, but every time you put a minion there, you get a Madness card. Ah! But still, Mountains of Madness. I love the name of that. Asylum. When you play a minion there, you can return a Madness card from your hand to the Madness desk. So this is like the opposite, except it's kind of low point values. And then, Ryu, I like this one. You can destroy a minion that you have there at the beginning of your turn. If you do, you get a victory point. Is that worth it? I'll say that in the games I've played, a lot of minions have died at this spot. And then, of course, other horror things, the Antarctic Base, Ritual Site, Innsmouth, and the Plateau of Lang, which is a place I've learned in Arkham Horror that I never want to go to. We're going to start with the Miskatonic University faction, which has one of the best named cards in the game, those Meddling Kids. Now, that's not as good as Bear Rides You, but still. Destroy any number of actions played in the base. It's an okay card, but a great name. Then we have That's So Crazy, and of course, a card, it just might work. This one lets you draw Madness cards that gives all your minions. It lets you draw a Madness card. All your minions are +1, and you get an extra action. That's great. And here you can discard a Madness card to give each of your minions +1 power until the end of the turn. The Miskatonic University deck is all about manipulating Madness cards. Here you can, before base scores, you can pick a minion there, draw up the 3 Madness cards, and they get +2 power for each Madness card you draw. That's a pretty neat one. Here you can play on a base, and this has talents. Now, talents were introduced in the first expansion. They're also in this one. Basically, once you play this out there, it's like an extra action you can do each turn. And this lets you draw a Madness card to put an extra minion there. This guy just lets you draw a Madness card. Then the Professor lets you discard a Madness card, and if you do, you get an extra action and or an extra minion. So you can see again that this deck's all about getting the Madness cards and getting rid of them. She just lets you get rid of some. And then the Psychologist lets you get rid of one too. So, and then the Librarian, you can discard one to draw a card. So that's Miskatonic University. I guess in this expansion, they're the good guys. Oh, then we have Innsmouth. All right. Well, this one, now we're seeing the locals. Okay, this is a minion that's in the deck. It lets you reveal the top 3 cards of your deck. Place any the locals revealed into your hand. Put the rest of the cards in the bottom of your deck. So you can look at the top cards. If you have another one of these minions, it will come out. Okay, and there are a lot of locals in your deck. It's hilarious. This is actually, that's the only minion that Innsmouth comes with. And the thing is, it's almost as if Innsmouth should have been the zombie faction. In fact, I've mixed Innsmouth and zombies together, and it's a pretty good combo. And more on that later, but yes. Here, there's a draw up to 3 madness cards. So again, there's madness infecting this deck too. You get to play an extra minion. So more of those locals can get out. Or if you have 3 more minions with the same name on a base, you draw 3 cards, and then you can draw 2 more cards and 2 madness. Here I can play 2 extra minions with the same name as a minion in play. So if you can, you want to combine Innsmouth with another faction that has a lot of minions with the same name. Each of your minions gets power 2. Each of your minions that's power 2 or less gets +1 power until the end of the turn. This is the deep ones. That's nasty and awesome. And this is a cool one. After your base scores, you can put any number of your minions with the same name on that base into your hand instead of discard pile. And then here you place in a base, your minions at power 2 or less are not affected by opponent's cards. So these guys don't look very strong, but wow, they just keep coming and coming and coming and coming. Like I said, zombie. And then of course Cthulhu. This is the Minions of Cthulhu deck, and this is Cthulhu the Tongue. And they have ways to get victory points. So far, I believe they're the only faction besides the aliens. Actually, I mixed them with the aliens to see what happened. They can draw a madness card to get a victory point. Here, before a base scores, you can draw a madness card to give a minion +2 power. Here you draw a madness card, and you get to play 2 extra actions this turn. Here you can destroy this minion and place an action card from your discard pile on top of your deck. Here you can draw a madness card to destroy a minion. Here you can place a madness card from your hand into another player's hand. So all those other cards that give you madness, pass it off to someone else with a guy who's a 5 power, which is great. Madness Unleashed. You can discard any number of madness cards. For each one discarded, you can draw a card and play an extra action. It's unbelievably cool. I pulled this off one time with 4 madness, which I mean, I guess you can get more than that, but still, I drew 4 cards and had 4 extra actions. Woo! And then furthering a cause, I like this one too. You play in a base at the end of every turn. If another player's minion was destroyed, gain a victory point. So if you mix this deck with another deck that's good at destroying minions, say the Pirates. Oh, Pirates of Cthulhu are nasty. Then when you complete the ritual, this is a great, great card. You play it on a base where you have at least 1 minion. At the start of your turn, everything on that base goes to the bottom of the deck and you put a new base out. Oh, this is so nasty. And you will also make everyone hate you at the table. And finally, the Elder Things. They can begin the summoning. You put a minion from your discard pile on top of your deck, an extra action. That's cool. Then you have these Byakis. Everyone with a minion at this base gets a madness card. These guys are fun. They like giving other people madness. Everyone reveals their hand, discard madness, and shuffles their discard pile on their deck so you can get rid of other people's madness if you need to. Here's a Shogoth who's 6. And you can only play this minion where you already have 6 power, but everyone else there gets a minion, and you destroy a minion here belonging to each player who does not do so. So draw a madness card, or I'll kill you. And there's lots of these little Byakis guys, but then there's Migos. Each other player can draw a madness card. Why would they want to do that? Because if they don't, I draw a card. And let's see, with the price of power, the power of madness, spreading horror. There's other great cards in this deck. We got the Dunwich Horror. You play a minion, they get 5 power, but then you destroy this minion at the end of the turn. I've actually played that on someone else's minion. A Touch of Madness. Each other player draws a madness card. Lots of fun. Unfathomable Goals. Everyone reveals their hand. If they reveal a madness card, they have to destroy one of their minions. So give people madness cards and then smash them. And then, of course, the Elder Thing. Look at that. Power 10. Strongest thing in the game. Even more powerful than the T-Rex. Destroy 2 of your minions, however you have to get them out, and it's not affected by opponent's cards. I bet you this will be the most powerful thing we'll see in the game ever, but it's kind of a pain to get out. It's really hard. When you have 2 minions on a base, people tend to notice, and once they know the other things in your deck, have fun trying to keep them. Unless, of course, you mix it with the Innsmouth, and you can get a lot of minions out. Huh, that's a combo I haven't tried. The original game had 28 different combinations. Now we have 120 different combinations. I do not think I've seen them all, although I've seen a lot of them. And I mean, that's one of the coolest things about this game. Whenever you get a new faction, like, ooh, who can I combo this one in? Like I said, putting the Innsmouth with the zombie was fun, or the pirates with, there's with the Cthulhu, and there's just different things that you want to try. I always want to mix robots with everything, and I just want to see the different combinations. I mean, what's it like to have Elder Thing ghosts? You can do that now. It's cool. I like this. The madness mechanism is pretty cool. It adds in. Now, the thing is, it's the madness thing is going to be there or not in a sense, because if the game plays very differently if all 4 players are playing with madness involved, because the madness is big, cards, but if just one player has picked someone with madness, it doesn't come into play nearly as often, but it's still there kind of hovering in the background. And I didn't notice that the game was better or worse for having a lot of it or a little of it. What I mean by that is a lot of expansions add a new mechanism to a game. And you play that and you're like, oh, it's cool. But then future ones aren't going to refer to it. Like, I don't think we're going to see future expansions talk about the madness deck. So does that make it a bad thing? I don't think so. Because if you play with one of these factions, you just simply pull out the madness deck. Great. It's there. Or if you have a location show up with madness, great, it's there. It can be a pain in the neck, and it can have a small effect in the game, but I don't think you'll go, oh, I wish they'd do more madness stuff. I think there's enough madness in this box. And if you play with all 4, it's pure madness. I'm getting kind of close to being weird. But some of you think I crossed that line a long time ago. But anyhow, this is a good expansion. I still like the first one better, if only because I'm not as Cthulhu-ish as everybody else is. But I think this one's solid, and I'm all for adding more expansions to the set and mixing things together. Can't wait for the next Super Spy Mad Scientist and see how they mix with Cthulhu. But that's coming in a few months. But anyway, until now, if you like the game, of course get this. The more combinations for Smash Up, the better.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at DicetowerNetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.
Shut the door.
There.